we've got now a guy who has been on with us a lot, friend of the show, fantastic data guru, Ryan Girdusky, with us right now. Ryan, I think you're like me. You only slept a couple of hours last night. Do you still feel
Yeah.
like you're walking on air? How amazing was last night?
Yeah, and you know what? It was surprising how quick I realized it was over.
Yeah.
I was texting a top person of the Trump campaign, and the first rural county to come in, I think, was Tyler, Kentucky, and Trump had gained 6 points in a county that he had very little room to grow in because he was already winning it in the previous election by close to 80 points. And then they were concerned about, I think it was Hamilton County, which is the north suburb of Indianapolis, because originally they said that they were losing it, but in terms it was just the early vote, and I knew he was going to win the suburbs of Midwestern cities. So that completely demolished Ann Selzer's entire prediction right there. And then Florida came in and he won the Puerto Rican majority county or plurality county near Orlando. And just like liberal fallacy after liberal fallacy fell apart. Buck was correct when he said that he won it by double digits. I took it by the high singles. I couldn't believe he won it by that much. And then when I got a phone call at 6:30 from a top Georgia consultant friend of mine who said they're going to call it by 9, they didn't. But he goes, Trump absolutely won. It's over. And I was like, well, what do you mean by absolutely won? Is it by 0.1, 0.2? He's like, no, it's well over 2 points. He won. There's no more. They're not coming out in Atlanta. It's over. And then the exit polls came out. And he said he won 25% of the black male vote in Georgia. But the last thing that fell for me was when Virginia came out and Loudoun County came in, and there was an 8-point swing in Trump's direction in an overwhelmingly wealthy, college-educated county. And I said, well, that's it. That's it. They're literally every single coalition that they were supposed to have, the black vote, the Hispanic vote, decent chances with rurals, according to Ann Seltzer, decent chances with Midwesterners, according to Ann Seltzer, and college-educated voters surge. It's all gone. Every fallacy they have is gone, and it's gone in pinnacle counties, and she's going to lose. I texted my family, I think, at 8:30, and I said, you guys can all go to bed. He won. It's over.
You texted your buddies at what time?
Like 8:30 p.m. I said, it's
He
over.
texted.
Yeah.
He texted me around 9 o'clock, Clay. Hey, Ryan, great to have you as always. He's like, JD Vance is going to be the next vice president, because I was asking him questions about specifics on the voting. So, yeah, he knew very early on that this was in the bag for the good guys. Ryan, Kamala didn't outperform Biden. Did this stand? I remember this stat from last night. It was actually funny because Jake Tapper was like, wow, like he couldn't process it. Kamala didn't outperform in the thousands of counties in the United States. She didn't outperform Biden in one?
Some counties did move left. It wasn't many. There were a few counties like in Oklahoma for some reason that moved left. There were also a few counties in Georgia that moved left. You have to remember, when you hit a certain threshold in some counties Trump was getting 84, 85% in the last election. If he gets 82%, it's considered a big swing. So yes, she made some ground up in some places, usually either in very red or very blue counties, but not particularly by much. In no major suburban area did she make any ground up. It was all basically on the margins in some very, very small counties, but not many, and not worth even discussing, honestly.
Tell everybody, Ryan, nationally, the black vote, the Jewish vote, and the Hispanic vote, what do we know, and are those numbers pretty close to final?
So here's what is going on. So what happened is there's been two sets of exit polls, right? There's the Edison exit poll numbers, and then there is the Fox News analysis exit poll numbers. They are very different. Fox started doing their own analysis after 2016 because the 2016 exit polls were so bad. I don't really like to look at either one of those things. Not that they're bad companies. It's very difficult because they're sampling people. They're overwhelmingly sampling them in cities and suburbs. They don't get a lot of rural communities in these sample sizes to factor in. In a few months, Pew Research will be doing their autopsy on the election. And that is really the gold standard for how people voted. We just won't know yet because they will take several months to do an entire autopsy on knowing every kind of demographic you could imagine. I would wait for that to happen. But we do have clues. We have clues in the fact that in the Jewish vote in New York, AOC's district, which is not very Jewish, is mostly Hispanic, Asian, and white, but AOC's district moved 25 points towards Trump.
Wow.
I think it's probably the biggest change in any
I mean, that's
congressional district. But
Queens, right? I mean, isn't that basically
that's
a
Queens
Queens
and the
district
Bronx.
in New York? Queens
It's
and
Queens
Bronx.
and the Bronx. Yeah,
That's among the most. You'd have to struggle to find a more diverse congressional district.
Yeah, 25-point swing. It used to be an 85-15 district. It was now, I think, 65-35, which is still a blowout Democratic district, but those margins are vastly different. Grace Meng, she's a congressman from Queens. Trump almost won her district. He almost won a second congressional district in New York City, which is completely unheard of. He won Suffolk County, which was his biggest county outside Maricopa back in 2016. He won it by double digits. These are huge, huge numbers. Miami, he won by 11. So we have some context from there. Starr County, Texas, which is the most Hispanic county in America. It is 97% Hispanic. It is right on the border. Trump flipped it. He won it by, I think, 16 points, as last time I checked. It is the first time in 132 years a Republican has won this county. And it wasn't, he didn't win it by a sliver, he won it by a blowout. So a realignment is continuing. What I would like to sit there and look for is what I talked on your show, what I wrote about him a lot, is I think that he overperformed estimates with the senior numbers. I said this over and over again. I thought that seniors were not moving as left as people said they were. Pollsters estimated that he would lose seniors in Pennsylvania by 4 to 5 points, and that would carry him to winning Pennsylvania. I said not to believe these exit polls, but this is all we have right now. So far in Pennsylvania, he probably won seniors by 5 to 6 points. So it was a 10-point difference with a demographic that's 30% of the vote. That's 3 points right there. That's your margin between winning and losing in Pennsylvania. He also did fabulously well with the black vote, extremely well with the Hispanic vote, but a lot of that information was there. Typically what happens with pollsters, with Republicans, is that they overestimate the support of the black vote, the support of the Hispanic vote, and then on election day, it's a little disappointing. In this case, they underestimated it. Right now, they're saying the black vote was about 16% Republican. I checked it a little while ago, and the Hispanic vote was about 44% Republican. That's a tremendous, tremendous difference right now. And obviously in certain areas, it's much more. I wouldn't be surprised if, in Texas and in Florida, Trump probably won the Hispanic vote.
A couple of data points I want to hit you with. I'm curious which ones stand out the most to you. Trump wins Florida by 13, Texas by 14. Ann Seltzer, who said, Iowa is going to go to Kamala by 3, actually ends up Iowa 13 to Trump. And New Jersey 51-47 when we started the show. I don't know if it's moved very much since. Those numbers are all pretty staggering in many different ways. What stands out to you about those raw numbers there on a state basis?
Okay, so Iowa, first of all, Seltzer said that the reason Iowa was competitive was because only 1 in 4 women over the age of 65, which, by the way, all seniors in Iowa are white. So only 1 in 4 white seniors, women seniors, were voting for Trump. 3 in 4 were voting for Kamala. And only half of white senior citizen men, that was senior citizen women, while 3 in 4 were supporting Kamala. She said half of senior citizen men who are white were supporting Kamala. I don't know about you, but I know a lot of white older seniors. And random sample size, that was not true. And they were not moving, and it would require them to move 30 points. It basically, every Fox News viewer became a Rachel Maddow viewer in a matter of a month, according to her.
And by the way, Ryan, also in a state that disliked Kamala Harris so much that she dropped out before they could vote in the 2020 Democrat primary.
It is utterly ridiculous. Ridiculous. Then you go to the New Jersey numbers, and what's interesting is not only is there extreme growth in the ethnic white communities, and by the way, he flipped Morris County, New Jersey, which is a very, very Jewish part of New Jersey, but then he makes inroads around Union and Newark. These are more Democratic areas. There was a congressional district. New Jersey is gerrymandered beyond belief, where Republicans really can't win another House seat if they tried. But there was one House seat. This was a Biden plus 26 seat in 2020, and the Republican was trailing, I think, by 3 or 4 points in it. That's a tremendous explosion around Passaic County, all the way in the east, very Hispanic, a lot of Asians, very, very, very ethnically diverse, and absolutely repulsed by the Democratic brand. I'm going to give you a totally different thing besides Texas and Florida, which I referenced beforehand. You know what state had a huge explosion for Republicans? Vermont. Vermont, blue Bernie Sanders, Vermont, the Republican governor, who is a liberal one, the Republican lieutenant governor flipped the seat from Democrat to Republican because they're registered independently of each other, lieutenant governor and lieutenant governor. So they won the lieutenant governorship. They won 5 state Senate seats. They won 18 state House seats. It's the most the Vermont legislature has been Republican since 2002. It is this is Bernie Sanders' home base. I'll give you another thing. Tim Walz's home district flipped Republican. Tim Walz I think he lost the state house in Minnesota. Democrats lost the state house in Michigan, in Pennsylvania. They lost a supermajority in Nevada. They lost a supermajority in the state legislature in New York, in the New York State Senate. And they lost the state house in Pennsylvania. I don't know if I just mentioned that, but and Michigan. They lost. It was a obliteration across the board. A lot of it was extremely bad branding of the Democratic Party to sit there and only say fascism, J6 abortion, fascism, J6 abortion, because unless you live in very few states, honestly, very few states relative, abortion is not a major issue because it is the law of the land. So it completely takes you out of that. And they're dealing with huge surges of migrants, huge amount of migrant welfare fraud, crime, housing costs, living standards. It makes the focus so much heavier on Kamala's weak points that it's even worse.
Ryan Girdusky, everybody. Ryan, we got to tip our hat to you, buddy. I mean, there's a reason we have you on the show as often as we do. It's because you know the data, your analysis is spot on, and you're a humble guy, but I'll say it, and Clay will say it. You nailed this election. Your predictions as to where it was going and to what polls were legit, what polls weren't. And my wife last night, Carrie, she's like, I kept telling her, I've been saying Trump's going to win for months, and she knows that every time she asks me every day, are you sure he's going to win, honey? I'm like, I'm sure he's going to win, honey. You sure? Last night she goes, I'm freaking out. Text Ryan if he says he's going to win 2-0. And I'm like, okay, well, I say so, and Ryan said so, and it came out to be true. You also I'll tell you, Ryan, you got a new subscriber, seriously, to your Substack from my wife last night, Carrie. So,
I appreciate that. I'm gonna write the 5 pieces that you should know about this election on my Substack today for tomorrow, and that will give a highlight. And in a month or two, I know you like a lot of data, Clay, but give it a month or two, and we're gonna have the full lay of the land, and we'll know a lot more.
I love looking at the data. Ryan, you've killed it. Congrats. Get some sleep. I'm going to try to get some sleep tonight. That's the plan.
And go subscribe to Ryan's Substack. Go to Substack. Look up National Populist Newsletter. Just type in Girdusky. He's probably the only one on Substack. Ryan Girdusky.
Only one in America.
And go subscribe. Ryan, great work, man. And please go, I know you're tired too, like Clay. Go celebrate. Go enjoy yourself. You've earned it.
Thank you.
Look, Buck, this morning, good example of what Chalk's male vitality stack can be worth, because I was out last night till almost 3 a.m. I slept a couple of hours. Now I've been here for almost 3 hours with all of you, and that can start to get a little bit draining. I'm going to be honest with you, especially if you mix in a little alcohol and some frivolity. You need energy. And testosterone is the energy that drives the male engine. And right now, the Chalk Male Vitality Stack is for you. If you take it for 3 months, your overall testosterone can increase by 20%. Check it out, choq.com. You don't want to be a white dude for Harris, or a black dude for Harris, or a Hispanic or Asian dude for Harris with low testosterone running around trying to get her elected and seeing that she got absolutely swamped. You want to be a Trump voter with testosterone. Check out chalk.com. When you order in November, free surprise product now. They're extending this. Use my name, Clay, for a best deal on a lifetime subscription. That's chalk.com. My name, Clay, lifetime discount, free surprise gift. You can also call or text 50-CHALK-3000. That's 50-CHALK-3000. You say Clay and Buck sent me. You can talk to their U.S.-based customer service team and also get that best possible subscription price for life. My name, Clay, CHOQ. Put some testosterone in your life. Kick Kamala to the curb. Chalk.com.